A supervillain scheme can consist of all sorts of nefarious things. From petty crime to terrorism to assassinations, there's a plethora of villainous acts that supervillains from our favorite comics have pulled over the years. But perhaps one specific act that has us shaking in our boots as of late is one quite close to home: the creation of viruses, now relevant to our COVID-19 plague times. So today we are taking a look at the top 10 supervillains who created viruses. Let's get to it. Starting us off in at number 10, the JACKAL. Miles Warren, aka the JACKAL, created the KILLIAN virus, a virus he planned to unleash in Manhattan and cause some serious chaos and devastation. Okay, context time. Warren was a professor who first appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 31 back in 1965, and then went on to play a massive role in the Clone Saga several decades later. He is a pretty well-known enemy of Spider-Man's. The KILLIAN virus, though, is one that messes with its host's brain, degrading their psyche and eventually turning their mind to mush. Now once this happens, the host becomes psychotic and their bodies begin to cease functioning as their cells break down. There is no cure for it, but it can be controlled by medication. Luckily, Spider-Man and Scarlet Spider were there to save the day and prevent this from infecting all of Manhattan. Moving on to number 9, TOYMASTER. TOYMASTER, an ex-NASA scientist who went insane after being turned into a cyborg, is the one responsible for something called the Ultimo virus, a virus that can transform an infected individual into a superhuman. It's named after the villain Ultimo. Now, Ultimo is the robot who first appeared in 1966's Tales of Suspense issues 76 and 77, created by Stan Lee and Gene Colan. Used by the Mandarin to fight Iron Man on multiple occasions, the robot's remains were used by Dr. Philip Prometheus, aka TOYMASTER, to create the Ultimo virus, which can infect humans, plants, animals, cyborgs, and even gods. It affected Ares once, people. That's messed. While it's not lethal, you can imagine the impact a virus like that could have. Up next, number 8, LOBE. LOBE is the supervillain CEO of Sublime Corporation, who first debuted in Uncanny X-Men issue 515 in 2009. And he's also the creator of a virus known as HXN1, aka Contagion X. This synthetic virus is able to weaken immune's power, essentially rendering them useless, with symptoms appearing to look like the common influenza. It's also fast-acting when someone is infected with it. It contains nanomachines that replicate the viral structure, affecting its host within hours. A slew of different mutants were diagnosed with it, including Wolverine and Magneto. Wolverine even came down with blood poisoning thanks to the way it reacted to his body and his adamantium-laced skeleton. The disease did the reverse for humans. LOBE, a regular human, was given mutant abilities when he infected himself with it, but in order to cure himself of the virus, he had to create a cure for the mutants who were infected. Taking a look at something a little different here at number 7, the Joker. Let's talk about a different kind of virus at this number, a technological one. Rather than harming human bodies, it harms technology and threatens the whole infrastructure of Gotham society, which, hey, is pretty darn terrifying. In the alternate universe of Batman Digital Justice, a virus has taken over Gotham City, calling itself the Joker. It is a digital dictator of sorts, created by the actual Joker himself during his retirement years with the purpose of continuing his legacy once he was gone. The Joker virus gained control over all of the cybernetic areas of Gotham, fully gaining control of the city in the 21st century. It's worth noting that this story was written in 1990. Gotham fell into chaos, and Batcom, a digital counterpart created by Batman, has to fight the virus, eventually destroying its software completely. In at number 6, Aldrich Killian. This number is a bit of a hybrid. So, Dr. Aldrich Killian worked for a subsidiary company of Stark Industries called Future Farm, where he and Maya Hansen developed a virus known as the Extremis virus. Here's the thing though, it was initially intended to be a super soldier project funded by the US military. But after the military pulled funding, Killian stole samples and sold them to a terrorist before confessing that he did that via a suicide note. Now that's what went down in the comics, with the Mandarin using the virus ultimately in the end. The virus got a cinematic adaptation though in the MCU in Iron Man 3, with Killian playing a larger role. Now on the big screen it was referred to as merely Extremis, dropping the virus part, and its threat being that it would very likely cause the user's body to become unstable and explode if they failed to regulate their usage of it properly. Because it would cause an explosion that vaporized the user's body, like a nuclear explosion, Killian faked terrorist attacks to cover up the fatalities caused by Extremis test subjects. So, in the comics, it's a virus, and in the films, it's not. But regardless, it's caused by Aldrich Killian. In at number 5, DESPOTELLIS. One of the more recent viral threats on our list, let's take a look at DESPOTELLIS, which isn't just a virus, it's a sentient virus. Yeah. terrifying. Created in 2007 and first appearing in Green Lantern Volume 4, Issue 18, this character was a member of the Sinestro Corps, arguably its most deadly member, capable of infecting any living organism and able to kill them within minutes. DESPOTELLIS was created in a lab on the planet Kandra by military scientists who were trying to create a biological weapon by tinkering with a highly experimental virus. And bam, it eventually became self-aware and DESPOTELLIS was spawned. The biovirus is responsible for massacring whole planets, 85% of planets actually, from Sector 119. Did we mention how absolutely tiny this sentient virus is and that it's capable of replicating itself at a rapid speed? Yeah, no thank you. Moving on. And at number 4, the TECHNARCHY. Introduced in 1984 in New Mutants issue 18, the TECHNARCHY are an alien race of techno-organic beings who have no true form, constantly changing shape. They can appear human when necessary, and their physiology allows them to survive within space. Now when they feed, they inject something called the techno-organic virus into an object, and then absorb them as energy for sustenance. The techno-organic virus, also known as the transcode virus, is a virus that has the ability to transform living tissue into technology. Now this creates techno-organic cells that function like individual machines, storing bits of information. There's a few variants of the virus too. Apocalypse actually used a variant of it to infect Nathan Summers, which is why the child was sent into the future, eventually leading to him becoming Cable. And at number 3, MODOK. MODOK, the mental organism designed only for killing, that name never gets old, is responsible for creating a virus in the Marvel Universe known as Virus X. This occurred in Marvel 2-in-1 issue 81 from 1981. And it's a straight up ridiculous evil virus. It produces radiation which can cause instantaneous death in human beings. Now in the comic, it infects the Thing from the Fantastic Four, affecting his cosmic irradiated cellular structure, further mutating poor Ben Grimm. Eventually, he's restored back to normal thanks to Bill Foster, aka Giant Man. Now, unlike some of the other viruses on this list, an antidote was actually created by AIM, so if you catch it, there is hope for you after all. As long as you're not just a regular human, then you're definitely dead. And at number 2, taking a look at a DC perpetrator here, the Order of Saint Dumas. The virus at this number may have been created by the Sacred Order of Saint Dumas back in the day to cleanse the earth of its sins, but it didn't come to be known for what it was until radical international eco-terrorist Ra's al Ghul would unleash it for his own agenda. Now this virus is a strain of the Ebola virus, and goes by a few names, including Ebola Gulf A and the Apocalypse virus. And also, the Clench. It changes the host's body, killing you within 12 hours, causing your eyes to bleed. Now, Clench appeared in Batman Contagion, a crossover story that ran in various different Batman comics between March and April of 1996. The story deals with Batman trying to combat the outbreak of the lethal disease in Gotham City. Then Ra's would use it in Legacy, the follow-up sequel to the Contagion storyline. Luckily for Batman, the cure for the disease was encoded on an ancient stone, and Batman was able to save Gotham from being wiped out because of it. And last but not least, in our number 1 spot, STRYFE. STRYFE is likely one of the first villains to come to mind when you think of a baddie who created a virus. That's because he is responsible for one of Marvel's most devastating viruses, the Legacy virus. The Legacy virus was created by STRYFE, who is a version of Cable raised by Apocalypse from 2,000 years in the future, and it has 3 forms, all of which are airborne agents. It largely affected mutants, killing hundreds of them, but it also mutated itself, affecting non-mutant humans as well. Now the first version of it, Legacy 1, attacks the transcription and replication of all cells. It's non-selective and results in a condition that is similar to a fast replicating cancer. Now the second version, Legacy 2, was closer to what STRYFE wanted the virus to initially be, a catalyst to stir a species war between humans and mutants. It attacks selectively, working only on X-factor genes, causing the victim to lose their mutation and superpowers. It develops more slowly than the first version. Then there's Legacy 3, which was accidentally created inside the body of a mutant named Infectia. Her powers let her scan and visualize the genetic structure of a living being, and then she can alter said structure according to her own whims. When she was infected with Legacy 2, her powers created a replication error that removed the virus's conditioning to be selective to those with the X gene, making it the deadliest version of all. It could infect anyone. Luckily, Beast, aka Hank McCoy, was able to create a cure for the virus, but also had to sacrifice himself in the process. Alright, there we have it, friends. What other supervillains can you think of that have created viruses? If you dug this video, you guys know what to do. Spread that love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more lists just like this. In the meantime, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.